Most of us grow up not knowing any openly lesbian, gay, or bisexual people. But television offers us a rich panoply of characters for understanding the world.
You began to get representation of lesbians and gays in the cinema, really quite a lot in the 60s. But by contrast, television, still lesbians and gays were almost invisible. Towards the end of the 60s, you do begin to get a few representations, but they are mainly in documentaries, mainly using a sort of medical sickness model.
Homosexuality is in fact a mental illness which has reached epidemiological proportions.
So I think you went from a place of invisibility to some visibility, and then the concern was, okay, we're on TV, but what are they saying about us on TV? What do these images convey?
It also very famously shot people from behind potted plants and, with their faces obscured, testifying to their own sickness.
I know that inside now I'm sick. I'm not sick just sexually. I'm sick in a lot of ways.
And then November of '72, there's the first so-called gay drama on television that certain summer.
This is a friend of mine, Gary McLean.
Hi, how are you? Hello.
The film brought a number of important dimensions to the representation of gays that hadn't been there before.
The 1970s saw the American Psychiatric Association remove homosexuality from its list of mental disorders, and anti-gay statutes were revoked in many states. A vibrant gay culture, long thriving behind closed doors, made its way into the view of mainstream America.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man.
They actually put an aspect of gay culture really into the mainstream, and in a way television couldn't avoid that.
You can have a good meal, you can do whatever you feel.
For someone of my generation, it sounds a bit preposterous. Political power for homosexuals? But those predictions are already coming true.
We are moving from gay pride to gay politics. Gay politics.
In this report, we'll see how the gays of San Francisco are using the political process to further their own special interest.
Between the late 60s and the early 80s, gay images moved from complete invisibility toward a contested presence on television. Little did people realize, however, that an epidemic was on the horizon, which would thrust homosexuality into the media spotlight. The AIDS crisis presented television with a number of challenges: how to accurately report the epidemic, how to talk about HIV transmission, and how to promote strategies to limit its spread. On all fronts, television failed. Producers, always concerned about advertising revenues, worried that audiences would recoil from a discussion of gay men and sex. 6,000 people had died before something dramatic forced the media to recognize the impact of AIDS.
Rock Hudson's death marked a turning point. It drew in a large audience, and the media found that people were interested in Rock Hudson's death because of his fame. And so after that, we began to have quite a lot of coverage of the AIDS crisis, but it was all in terms of the epidemic. It was not about the gay community. And so everything about the gay community suddenly became an AIDS story, and we were totally defined by disease.
There was a program called Midnight Caller. It revolved around a radio talk show host.
He's an AIDS carrier.
Is that a crime, Jack?
I think that he is knowingly infecting people. I want to get him off the street.
What do you think of gay people?
Are you serious? I think it's unreligious.
I think it's wrong because, if they spread AIDS around and stuff, it kills innocent people.
More sympathetic portrayals of gay men with AIDS tended to be set almost exclusively in white, upper-middle-class families. This made it difficult to see the real diversity of people with AIDS. As a result of renewed gay activism and marketers' recognition of gay consumers, the visibility of gays, lesbians, and bisexuals has significantly increased. However, the need not to alienate mainstream audiences means that gay characters are portrayed in the least threatening ways, as feminine, non-sexual, and isolated. Bisexuality presents a particular challenge to television producers used to dealing with clear distinctions between straight and gay. Gay people of color also blur the boundaries of television's conventional ways of talking about sexuality.
As a lesbian spectator, I think there are many more opportunities for you to identify with this character and many more opportunities for you to laugh with her as opposed to at her.
I think the fact that it's been so controversial and has gotten so much attention outside of the show itself, in talk shows, in news articles, in the cover of Time, and so on, I think that is progress just because it puts gayness on the front burner.
You always wanted me to be open and honest with you.
Oh no, honey, that's what you wanted.